Welcome into the Saturday edition of the Hustle Podcast, going live on WagerTalk YouTube, also wherever you download your podcasts at the Hustle Show Podcast. Kelly Stewart, Patrick Wall, Adam Trigger.
I am drinking an energy drink. It is 8 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, and Patrick Wall is whacking fucking Viva seltzers right now.
I told him I'm going to join
in the world. The greatest sponsor in the world. We love our sponsors. Shout out Viva Tequila Seltzer. Live long. Viva.
What is wrong with you? God, he needs a fucking intervention, you guys. I'm done. I'm just going to leave the show and drive over to Patrick's house and be like, listen, child. No, actually, I'm in Florida right now. We all know that. All jokes aside, sorry, Drew, to interrupt, but I just fucking blacked out.
No, it's okay. It's Saturday morning. That's what this show is for, guys. We are going over college football bowl games, college basketball picks. We got Patrick Wall drinking Vivas at 8 a.m. Pacific time in the desert. This is what it's all about. Viva, live it up. Viva up in Boston. Is it live in Las Vegas yet, Patrick?
Unfortunately, no. But shout out the CEO. He shot some my way, so I got to get in on the fun a little early out here in the desert. And shout out watermelon. I love the fucking watermelon. It's so good.
That's what I was drinking with the CEO's mom last weekend during the Redskins game when she was like, "You need one of these," and I'm like, "Yeah, get me a grapefruit." And she accidentally grabbed me a watermelon. I like grapefruit the best, but I would say watermelon's like 1B.
Yes. Oh no, that's grapefruit's. Huckleberry is the best flavor. I don't even know how that's up for debate. I would put watermelon.
Is good, but it is not number one.
Listen, huckleberry's 1, watermelon's 2, grapefruit's 3, elderberry's 4. I've drank enough of these. I have a very clear ranking of these flavors at this point. So I'm sorry, it just is. That's just what it is. I'm gonna go get one. I forgot. I told Patrick I was gonna drink one with him, and I couldn't get on my internet, and I forgot. So I'm gonna be getting up from my brick wall here in a second to go get one.
I made Trey get the green screen out because he was just like in this little skinny hallway, and I said use the bricks because it's like all the college basketball teams we bet on.
Yeah, that's right. That's my college hoop season so far. This is what all my teams look like shooting the basketball. So I thought it was appropriate for this show.
Especially when they make it to overtime, Frig.
I'm like 1-11 in OT, all with underdogs. Yeah, but that's
where dogs go to die for sure,
yeah,
and unders.
Where Trey goes to die, basically.
Getting OT'd and betting unders is not good. So, guys, we're going to hit the college basketball, the bowl games first, and then we're going to hit some college basketball plays with Trig. App State, Western Kentucky. We got a little division here on the Hustle Show pod. Trig, I guess if you want to start us off, man, you kind of tipped it off on Twitter, man. You're like in WKU, huh?
Yeah, well, Drew, I mean, the nerve of these, guys to start this bowl game while we're trying to do Hustle Show
Saturday. Yeah, it just
kicked
off. I just saw this.
This game has started, so you'll have to get down on
West Coast kick.
It's ugly.
This game has just started. I mean, I love Western Kentucky here. If you follow me on Twitter, I tweeted this out last night. I tweeted it out again this morning. This thing moved. Like, it was +3 yesterday. I woke up to 2.5. And this thing went off like a pick some places. So if you want to get down on it live, for me, I'm on the Western Kentucky side. I think you can pretty much bet just as long as you can get Western Kentucky to win this thing. I think it's okay. I like them to win. So yeah, this is like a best bet for me. It's my first one of the day. But I like Western Kentucky here. I think I just think it's a flat spot for App State.
Megan and I put this in our money shots parlay for the weekend. There wasn't 3 college football underdogs that I thought had a chance to win outright. I leaned UAB. We went kind of head to head on Wednesday with Utah State with Adam. And so I elected to stay off there. It kind of seems like they may end up being a square dog that I'd like to get involved in. But Western Kentucky fit the bill along with ULL. And then, of course, we took Deion Sanders, Jackson State. So we'll see here, but this is why I actually bet Western Kentucky. Not only is the line move great because I got +115, but this comes from Ralph Michaels. Teams that lost their championship game as a favorite, if you remember, I had the underdog ULL there, and are now as a favorite in their bowl game. That would be App State. They are just averaging 24% against the spread. It's also play towards the under. So if you're looking for a live betting opportunity, there's a couple quick scores. Maybe look towards the under there. But if they lost that championship game by 7 or more, they're and 14 against the spread. So thanks, Ralph Michaels. If you guys aren't following Ralph, like I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
The stat daddy. What is it? The stat
daddy.
Right?
That's what I like to call him.
Yeah, well, Marco came up with that one because, Marco's pretty funny. But TNA, some trends and angles. Ralph's got an incredible database. So he's awesome. And the shit that he digs up. So it correlated with the +3. When it hit 2.5, I felt like I was on the right side. And so I just decided instead of betting the +2.5, I'll just take the money line. And good luck to you, Drew.
I after hearing you guys, I don't love it. I already bet it before I saw it on Twitter. I was just thinking, Western Kentucky, Kelly, a lot of people out there have really liked Western Kentucky all season long. So I was thinking, maybe they'd be a little bit overvalued coming into bowl season, going up against App State's defense, which has had success against passing teams with the extra preparation time. I was thinking there was something there. Guys, I don't love it. I would probably, after hearing Adam and Kelly, there's nothing I can do about it now. My bet's already in. Unless Patrick Wall, are you on my side or are you on the dark side with Western Kentucky?
Well, I will say, Drew, it obviously ticked down, but the initial buy was on App State. It went from 2.5 to 3.
Touchdown, Western Kentucky.
And there's your touchdown. But I will say, with it ticking all the way down to a pick right before a kick, I don't know. It'd be hard to find value still there if you were betting a -110 when you could have got them at +115 like Kelly did, or +130 maybe when Adam was involved. So, especially with them going down to TD now, I don't know. I think you could only look at App State live at the moment, and maybe after that quick score, we could play that under Kelly was talking about as well.
The man coming straight from
Las Vegas.
I'm going to
tweet that big weird red guy that they have. So fun fact, one of my best friends played football there. So I was a Western Kentucky fan way back before it was fucking cool. Oh, also, Drew, I know some people know who Patrick is, but we should talk a little bit about Patrick's background so that everybody that's new to the show is not like, who the fuck is this guy? And where's Chris?
I'm going to get a Viva while you guys talk about Patrick's background.
Good idea.
He's Patrick Wall. You can follow him on Twitter at Pat_Wall with an extra underscore at the back. That's very important. That second underscore there. He's stepping in for CT Bets, who CT Bets is on the sideline for this Saturday. Shout out to him to get better, man. Get well, rest up. But Patrick, yeah, man, take the floor. You're out there in Las Vegas working behind the scenes on the other side of the counter a lot of times, so you know the moves. But what else do the people need to know about you, man?
I was.
I'll take the floor. Stop. You can add on to what I say. So all of you guys that listen to Kelly and Murray, this is the intern. Patrick was the intern that we hired to help us do some stuff. At the time, he was living in Boston. He came out for March Madness. Then all of a sudden said, hey, I think I'm going to move to Vegas. He has an MBA. He's a fucking accountant. I hate my life. COVID, just like everybody else, wanted to make a life change. And so Patrick said, hey, I'm going to move to Vegas. Got a job at a pretty prominent sports book out in Vegas, and here he is.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly pretty much just smoked it, hit the nail right on the head. And other than that, I was betting out in Boston beforehand, and just kind of making my way, really struggling at first. And part of the reason that I got better at it was stumbling across shows like the Kelly and Murray show and learning some things that I should be on the lookout for. And that made me a better. And hopefully with some of the stuff I learned from them and learned in the book, I can help those loyal Hustle Show listeners be better bettors as well.
Well, that's nice of you. Wally. Walrus, if you guys want to call him.
Yeah, when Chris comes back on, he can tell him how I gave him the nickname, because literally Patrick said it's the meanest thing anybody has ever said.
Yeah, it was brutal. I'll leave that story to CT, but oh my gosh, I was rattled for a minute, and then I don't know, I just kind of embraced it. It's like half my last name, and it's hysterical. So what are you gonna do? I'm the Walrus now.
I don't even think Chris is smart enough to know that it was half your last name.
I don't either. That's why it's so much more offensive.
Walrus. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into some fucking games, guys.
Let's get into some games. Yeah. Hey, next. Well, I guess we got South Carolina State, Jackson State starting at noon. Trig or Kelly or Pat, are any of you guys into FCS football?
Patrick is. I have no clue about either of these teams, so I'll leave it to these two.
Have at it, Walrus.
All right. Shout out Dion State. That's what I have always now and going forward will refer to Jackson State as. Dion put them on the map. They just got the #1 recruit in the country. It's probably the biggest recruiting story in 20 years. It's unbelievable, and the fact that he got him to flip from his alma mater. It was a great video. It was a great moment for FCS football and HBCUs. It was great. But yeah, I mean, if in this game here, if I was going to look one way, I'd look to Jackson State. There, it looks like you can find some 10s out there. Particularly at William Hill Caesars, there's a 10, and I think if you can get 10, it's a good bet on Jackson State. And I know it's in the money shots parlay too, so that'll give you a little nudge over the edge. It's always great to see Kelly and the girls behind that one. I like the Jackson State side, and I love what Dion's doing with the program and the documentary that they put out on, you can check that out on Barstool Sports YouTube. The documentary with Dion and those kids is awesome. He's doing great things over there, and I can't wait to see how they shape up next year. And I'll be rooting for him in the bowl game today.
Yeah, you know, Megan's a company woman, and she said, I think we should add Jackson State as our third leg. My contribution was Western Kentucky. She and I both liked ULL. And I said, well, Megan, she goes, well, look, we just have to have them win, right? In the parlay, that's kind of the deal. And I'm like, oh, you know, I'm not really a big chalk layer, Megan. That makes me nervous. And she's like, do you think Dion's going to lose this game after getting the #1 recruit in the country? He has a solid quarterback. You know, she had some really good points to it. And so it's kind of just more or less going to tail. As far as the actual side goes, the lines come down here. So I'm not sure why, but somebody with a lot of money is betting South Carolina State. So be a little cautious there on the -10. But it may come down to where they're trying to set themselves up for a middle as well.
Absolutely, guys. That's the, I guess we could say the FCS bowl game going today. They're calling it the Celebration Bowl in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta, Georgia. That's going at noon. Shout out to the chat box, Abby Jackson, Jeff in the house, Case Slater. We got Paco Healy, Jay Buff, all of you guys, welcome in. Thanks for joining us live. Come join us on the WagerTalk YouTube channel, guys, in the chat box. Let us know what you're looking to bet. We'll get it out here on the show. We're presented by Viva Tequila Seltzer. Half of the Hustle podcast, it's before noon, is now drinking a Viva. So Viva up, guys. It's tequila time in the East and Pacific Coast here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm in New York, so you know it's 11:15. This is like, what's this, brunch? Is that what you would call this?
Brunch,
right now?
yes, it's Saturday brunch. Good justification there, Trig.
This isn't as bad. It's also fucking snowing out right now. I just had to run out to my car for 2 seconds to get this. It was in my trunk. It's cold as shit. It's snowing. So I'm gonna start drinking now. Yeah, basically is what.
An 8:15 for Walrus. He's in Vegas. Yeah. Guys, we got next game up Saturday. We got a bunch of bowl games here. Utep, Fresno State. This is one I actually like. We got -11.5, -12. There is a -11 out there now, 52 being the total. Guys, I like Utep here. Getting the points. Fresno State has huge question marks. We get an interim head coach laying doubles right off the bat. That's alarm bells for me. I don't want that side because motivation being a key factor in bowl season. We get UTEP. Hey, they've been good all season and they haven't quit. Kelly, I know you know this, betting on UTEP against FAU on the road. They slipped through the back door. I think that's a possibility today. Also, the Fresno State quarterback, guys, he entered the transfer portal and then came back in. I don't know if I was another kid in the locker room, if I'd really like that. Like, hey, you were going to hit the road. Now you're coming back. What's up with that? But hey, all of that kind of factored in. UTEP has actually been a good bet all season long. I'm on the Miners plus doubles here, guys. You can still get 11.5, even 12 at the Westgate and South Point in Las Vegas. So that's how I'm looking at this one. Kelly, you got anything here, UTEP and Fresno State?
Listen, any chance I get to bag on Dana Dimmel, I'm going to do so, right? He's the former defensive coordinator for K-State, and I was glad to see him gone. But you know what he's done in El Paso? He's created a pretty goddamn good defense, and I got to give him a little bit of credit here. You're right, Jeff Tedford off to, I believe, Washington. So there is an interim head coach. And going back to your transfer portal thing, Drew, I saw a tweet the other day that there are 1,100 players in the transfer portal. Guess how many have found homes? Less than 10%. So I think we're going to start to see the kids pump the brakes here. Look, when you come out of high school and you're a 3, 4, 5-star recruit and everybody's been telling you how great you are your whole life, and then you're not a starting player or you feel like you're not on a good team or your coach leaves, most of the time you're not going to find another home. Like, you're not as good as you think you are. I need everybody to kind of realize that. Like, those top tier recruits are going to find homes. Not everybody is. And that's just an unfortunate realization. But do I think the team's going to not rally around him? We'll see. I do think this is too many points here for a really solid defense. Any chance I get, take the better defense plus the points. I think situationally, you're right. UTEP has a lot more fight than Fresno State's going to have today. I'm going to call for the outright upset. No, I don't think that UTEP can win. It's more of a backdoor situation.
Okay, I can see that happening. Pat, you liking anything here?
I don't know. I think for all of the reasons you said that you didn't like Fresno State, it kind of makes me like Fresno State, if that makes any sense.
Wally, wasn't this in the corner? Wasn't Fresno State in Wally's corner?
I'm not sure if this one made it all the way there.
Hold on,
but
you keep talking. I'll pull that up. I think it was. Go ahead.
That would be great. But because their quarterback entered the transfer portal, came back, some of these kids could be playing for their future job as well. So I think there is some motivation there for Fresno State, and I don't know. I'd lay it or pass here. It's a little bit of an interesting total. I've seen a couple of 52.5 start to pop up, but there are still 52s out there. It looks like the money's come in on the over, but I really don't have a massive opinion here. So maybe I just lay it or stay away.
Well, Walrus, the short-term memory is in question here for you because Wally, you texted this to me on Wednesday that they played this at 10 and 11 up to 11.5. So
yeah, there we go.
I'm not fading Wally's corner. It's hitting close to 60%. So I got to stay. I'll be staying away from this one. I have no real opinion here.
All right, guys, going down the list here of the bowl games, we got UAB, BYU going at it, 55 being the total, -6.5 or -7. That's the Cougars. This is the Independence Bowl, Shreveport, Louisiana. I like BYU here, but Bill Clark and company at UAB, I don't like betting against him. I didn't really have much in this game. Kelly, did you touch this one at all?
I wanted to bet UAB at 7. I pussyfooted around. Now it's 6.5. I'm kicking myself. I made the game 6. I thought there was a little bit of value here on the Blazers. I'm not going to call it home field advantage by any means, but obviously close proximity. This is BYU, who started off the season really hot. So I think to them, this bowl game is not really that great, right? And you have to kind of look at that, like a 10-2 team versus an 8-4 team. Who's going to be more excited to be here? And I think that's UAB, a team who, 3-4 years ago, their whole program was basically getting canceled. Now they're back. They're in a bowl game. BYU does find ways to win games, which makes me a little concerned here. I lean UAB, but I don't think I'm going to be getting involved.
Okay. I'm going to get crushed by Cal for this because I want my late to the party merch, Patrick, but I ended up playing this at 6.5. This is one of my best bets today. I actually gave this out to my clients at 6.5, and I already in my write-up apologized if this were to land 7 because, like you, I kind of just sat there. Drew, I mean, we did a college football show earlier this week. I said I like UAB +7. I don't know what I'm doing all week, not like locking that in, but it's tough with some of these bowl games. Like I lean more toward waiting, and I weighted myself out of 7 here, but I still took it at 6.5. I still think, it's the difference between a push and a loss, which does suck. But I like UAB here. And, this is, I don't know if there's any relevance to this, but we tend to see conferences either do really well or really bad in the bowl season, right? Like we'll get 2 weeks in and they'll be like, man, the Big Ten's having a horrible bowl season, or, I don't think one sort of team doing well affects another team in the conference, but it's just a trend that you tend to see. And so, like if Western Kentucky wins early, they're a Conference USA team. We just saw a Conference USA team win outright as a 10.5 point dog yesterday. Could see how UTEP's looking, but UAB, like maybe the Conference USA has a good bowl season. They all seem to be sort of undervalued. The trend here with the Conference USA is they're all undervalued underdogs kind of at this point. So in my analysis, much bigger game for UAB. If you go back to the beginning of the season, BYU started the year with wins over Arizona, Utah, and who else was a big team? Maybe San Diego State, like right off the rip. You can throw Utah State, which is now the Mountain West champs, into that mix. So they had to be thinking that they, at least back in late September, that the goal was to play a Power 5, in a Power 5 bowl game or a New Year's 6 bowl game. And so the fact that they're going to Shreveport, Louisiana, I just can't see that being a huge, motivator for this team, especially after last year when they kind of lost that game to Coastal Carolina at the end of the year and sort of played their way out of like a huge bowl game. So I think you're getting value. Even if you have to take 6.5, I think UAB is the right side.
Pat, you like anything here?
I mean, I would have to lean with UAB being the right side, just with it moving through the key number of 7. Being the quote unquote behind the counter guy, I don't know if in my heart of hearts I could tell the Loyal Hustle listeners to take plus 6.5. It makes me feel much better about it that Adam gave it out and released it. But I would say if you're going to play this one, maybe wait and see if there's an early field goal or something you can get above that 7. Like obviously here one of our biggest things that we're trying to do is get people to bet good numbers, and I don't know if I could follow through at 6.5, but with the move, it looks like the right side, and I wouldn't be surprised if Adam still gets the money, but I'd look maybe live, try to get something above plus 7.
Well, Walrus, do you see any rogue like juiced 7s, like 7 minus 120s? And would you take those?
Yeah.
So that's what I was actually going to get into. Like if you have a book that has a 6.5, but they're only charging you 10 cents around the 7, I mean, in theory, that's probably not positive EV, but you're getting that buy on onto a push instead of when I buy points, I like to buy onto a push instead of buying onto a win. So I don't know. I'd take the 7. Kelly disagrees with me, so I want to hear what she has to say.
Should never buy points. Stop it. Stop it. Stop
Yeah.
it. Stop it. Stop it. Next. People want to hear about real games. They want to talk about Indiana, Notre Dame. They don't want to talk about UAB. They don't want to talk about Utep. And also stop buying fucking points, Walrus. Get your head out of your ass.
So Kelly, we shouldn't be talking about Eastern Michigan and Liberty then?
I will say this. I have a Ralph stat for Eastern Michigan. If a team is off back-to-back losses as a fave going into their bowl game like Liberty is, they're 25% against the spread in said bowl game.
And Eastern Michigan's 3-0 ATS their last 3 bowls. So, hey guys, maybe look towards the MAC team there. MAC's 1-1 so far. I'm fading them in all their games. We'll see what happens. And Trig, to your point, Conference USA over the last 5 years, the best bet in bowl season. So they have been riding under the radar. Maybe guys look to ride that trend. We got Oregon State, Utah State. I like this one, Kelly. I really do. -7, even 7.5s out there on Oregon State, 68 being the total. Give me the Aggies. Been a great bet towards the end of the season. I like the Mountain West team, motivated, now, not that Oregon State isn't playing in LA, ABC primetime. I just think Utah State, I'm not jumping off of this train. They've been good to me. That's my bet here. You like anything Pac-12 Mountain West?
So when we were talking on Wednesday with Trig and we were against Trig, and I said, listen, the Beavers have been really good to me all season long. I had them pulling off a couple upsets. Now we're asking to be a big favorite. I was leaning towards Utah State. I'm going to tell you this right now. They look to be the square dog of the day. I know you kind of thought that about Western Kentucky. I'm glad I didn't end up getting involved. I wanted to bet them at 7.5. I did not. I'm glad I didn't. This is kind of like these early bowl games are kind of tough for me just because usually there are not a lot of teams that I follow throughout the season. You're trying to dig deep. I'll probably have 10 bowl game bets by the time it's all said and done. So we'll see how it goes. But for me, this is going to be a straight pass.
Okay. Trigger, you liking anything here? Eastern Michigan, Liberty, or Oregon State, Utah State?
Eastern Michigan, Liberty, I don't have much of an opinion on. My gut tells me that Liberty, I don't know. I would say a slightest lean toward Liberty, but I'm not going to get involved there. I'm not as gung-ho on Oregon State as I was a few days ago, though that's still how I would play it. Those two. Lean Oregon State, not much on the other one for me there. And then I guess the last one, Marshall. I know Lafayette's going to be missing some guys. You may have missed I think it might be down to 4, but I kind of lean Marshall there.
So I just got a text from CT Bets from the grave. My God, he's talking about buying points. These bowl games blow. Talk about some hoops.
All right, guys, we got to go to college basketball, but Pat Wall, we'll give you a conclusion here with the bowl games, buddy.
I would just say there was some money on the over in that game. it was as low as like 64 when it opened at offshore places. So people didn't have to pay a lot of money to move that number up, but even still, the move once it opened at most regulated sports books in the U.S. still went over. So maybe look over there, but no real strong opinion.
Good stuff from Patrick Wall, making his debut here on the Hustle podcast. You might know him from Wally's Corner, giving out the goods all season long. We got Kelly Stewart, Adam Trigger. I am Drew Martin. We're brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer. 50% of the Hustle is drinking Viva before noon Eastern time. So Viva live in Boston. We got 4 flavors. It is 0 sugar as well, guys. So if you're not looking for a hangover, Viva Tequila Seltzer is something you're going to want to go after. Trig, being our resident college basketball guy, it being Saturday, I think you could make the argument college basketball this time of year on Saturday might be the best bet in terms of what sport you're looking to bet on. Just so much for the odds makers to do. This is a great time to be a sports bettor, guys. Trig, what games are you looking at today, man?
Yeah. So I will say this, though. I think this might be the one time I think the college football slate has more value than the college basketball slate. And the only reason why is college basketball today, specifically these last couple of days, feels like a real crapshoot. None of the students are there. So you've got basically all of these games are being played in half empty venues. So you kind of have to handicap, you got to like take home court out of it a little bit, because some of these venues that are usually rocking are going to be half full. You've got now in college basketball, you're starting to see the cancellations like we were last year, which is like really concerning. So you have to, I would say you got to tread a little bit lightly here. I think college basketball is kind of a mess today. I do. So for me, I've got a best bet in college hoop. I'm coming right back with Weber State. I know if you watch the Hustle, we got rocked with them on Wednesday, but they are back at home. They're playing BYU. I believe that is, bear with me here for a second, I believe that's tonight. And that's, I'm just going to come right back with them. I think we're getting even more value than we would be, because, that game on Wednesday, Weber State scored 80 points against Utah State. That's pretty impressive. The problem is they gave up 95, which is like not, Drew, you actually mentioned that you liked the over in that game, and then that went way over. But I think, BYU is a little bit banged up, especially in the interior. So I think we're getting great value with Weber State plus 5.5 at home. I released that already. That's my best basketball bet today. As far as the rest of the card, I'm going to start. I'll let you guys jump in here, and I'm going to start kind of going through the comments, and we'll just start to tackle games that people have questions about.
Okay. Kelly, did you want to throw anything out, or should I give out the play I like here? CBB?
No, give out yours. I'll be honest with you guys. After last weekend's complete and utter disaster on the college basketball slate, I'm sticking with what I do best, and that is waiting until January. Yeah. I had a lot of work to do with the bowl games this week. I wanted to get some stuff out before Christmas. Obviously, none of the games I'm playing are before Christmas for the most part, minus the 2 today. So going to work on that. College basketball, like Adam said, just kind of a crapshoot right now, and I don't really want to be getting involved. Of course, I can talk Indiana, Notre Dame. We can talk Kentucky, North Carolina. That stuff's easy, but actually getting to the window with either one of those games is not going to be for me.
Okay. I forgot to do a recap, though, but, the last week, I know Missouri got killed, but, I don't think the info that we gave out was too bad. Drew Martin bets I think Drew Martin and I middled the Alabama game. Yeah. Because I gave out money line. He comes back with Houston +3, and it lands 1. CT Bets went 2-0. St. Joe's and Ohio State.
Oh, yeah. No, you guys did great. I'm just saying I got killed. And listen, I got killed with my own money as well. And then the favorites went 14-1 on Sunday. So you can imagine what my week was like.
It happens, bouncing back, guys. And when I was saying that about college basketball now, I just think it's so much for the odds makers to know. Wally would love to get your opinion on that. It's just, you got to know what you're betting. That's another thing. If you're not putting in the time, things of that nature, guys, maybe pump the brakes on it. One thing I have looked at here on today's game, it's 5:00 Eastern tip here, 669, 670. Buffalo, Canisius. Buffalo laying 15, 154.5 being the total, guys. I'm going at this one because Buffalo running really up tempo under Jim Whitesell. They've been getting 77 possessions last time out, 76 just 4 games ago, 77. And when you look against teams that also run up tempo, like Canisius here. Canisius only 2-9 on the season, but they are getting a ton of possessions as well. I think Buffalo runs it up. I think they got a chance to score, 90 plus points. So whenever that's the case in college basketball, I'd like to look at betting those type of games over. Sure enough, we get it 154. It's been bought up from 152.5, but we talked about this last show, guys. Getting good numbers is very important. However, I will say this, when a college basketball total gets up above 150, it's not that they're not important, and heck, it could land 153, something of that nature, but you want to be on the right side of these moves. And in a game that's going 77, 80 possessions, something like that, which I think this will. I think Buffalo Canisius goes over the total, and the low water mark right now, 153.5. That's at DraftKings. Buffalo Canisius over the total. Wally, college basketball here. Anything on my thoughts there on important numbers and maybe just a little bit maybe a step down in importance with college basketball totals, especially when they get that high?
Yeah, absolutely. The only sort of caveat to that is a lot of these sharp groups are blasting just an incredibly high volume of games, and that's why we see the WagerTalk odds screen light up like a Christmas tree on Saturday morning, because these guys are coming and they're taking positive expected value wagers on both sides of a lot of these games. They're beating the number on both sides, and if you're out there just trying to beat it on one side, it's hard enough to win that way, and these guys, it's a machine. It's crazy. And it's incredibly difficult to book, as you can imagine, because you don't know what's a fake, what's real. And some of those groups give you some real stuff. They give you some fake stuff, and you got to kind of middle through that and figure out what's real and what's not, and then try to get a line up there that finally, okay, we got a bet from this sharp group on this side of this game at this number. We got one here. This is probably a good number to put out that now the masses can bet into, and we don't really think we're giving something away here. That's where we're trying to get on that side of the counter. And in college basketball, it's extremely volatile, and the limits are much lower, so they don't need a lot of money to do that sort of manipulation. And it's difficult. You go to war in there. It's like nothing else that you book traditionally, but it's great.
Yeah, it's really cool how it lights up, like you talked about. Hey, I just one quick question here. What do you mean by fake stuff? Like sometimes they're giving real stuff, sometimes they're giving fake stuff. What does that exactly mean?
Yeah, so when the lines come out, right, if they think you made a mistake, they might bet you the wrong way on your opener, but the limits are lower. So if they're giving you a limit bet, you still got to move. So you're moving, and then once the limits widen up and they become a little heavier, those guys will come in with more money on the other side. And then you got faked. It's tough to know what's real and fake, but once you start doing it and you develop more of a history with the accounts, you sort of know what you can expect from certain people. And some of them wait till post and they'll just bury you in the with a minute to go, and you're kind of at a loss. But if you can get the line to that point where you get a sharp eye from maybe a couple of different groups before, you get in that good spot. But prior to that, sometimes you're moving, and that's why a lot of these books that move off air and not money run into some big problems with college basketball.
Yeah, Drew, I'll add one more thing to what the Walrus said. It's like so I think fake is short for head fake in this scenario, but their head fake, you might see just some normal everyday bettors try to jump on the head fake. So it's like so they'll move it one way and they'll hope that the market, or whatever you want to call it, will sort of continue to steam it that way. And then as soon as the limits go up, they'll pound the side they really wanted to bet and get the number at far better number than they would have gotten it at. And they'll be able to get far more down than they would have been able to get down if they just bet it the way initially. So I think that's kind of what he's talking about there.
Absolutely. It just surprised me that somebody would put thousands of dollars the wrong way and then bet it back the other way, because you're having to lay the minus 110 to do that. I don't know.
But when you have when
you're trying to get down hundreds of thousands of dollars, Drew, the thousands of dollars that they allow early in the week, those $250 bets, those things to those type of groups, it's just bullshit. all of it.
But Kelly, you would know this as good as anybody. How many of those are there out there? Is there 10? Is there 100? Is there thousands of these groups?
We all know about the famous ones, right? The Billy Walters groups and stuff like that. But I mean, from what I've been told, and this is, bookmakers around town, even his runners don't know what's real and what's fake because he doesn't want them trying to bet into it as well. So he may send 5 runners out with the real bet and 2 runners out with the fake bet. But the 2 runners with the fake bet go first and they move the line to 3.5. And then the other 5 just go hammer the other books. Like it's a very interesting play. I don't fully understand it. I understand why they do it. But with you, Drew, it's like, well, why are you going to throw away money on one side when you're laying 110? To them, it doesn't matter, especially early in the week, because some of the books, as Patrick just said, they move off air. They move off bullshit bets all day long.
Yeah, it's just the concept, if you're betting 500, even 1,000 to bet in the wrong direction, I'm sure there's a lot of viewers out there that, it's just tough to kind of grasp there. But sure, it makes total sense. Guys, I want to make sure we're not forgetting any segments here. We got the recap segment. Trig, do we need to hit that before we get too far here?
Don't, because I'm getting blown up by CT Bets right now. He wants to talk hoops. We already did the partial recap.
Okay.
We did a partial recap. I totally forgot to actually do the recap anyway. So like I said, I think we did all right last week. I'll come with a better recap next week. I'm still getting used to having a Saturday show. So
yeah.
I just real quick, we tell people to fire in the chat. I just want to touch on a couple of games that people said, Kyle Zimmerman, he's always in the chat. We appreciate you listening. He said fade Temple. I kind of agree with that. Drexel was sharp from Kelly last week. They fell short, and then they fell short against Coppin State early this week. So, Temple was the team that CT Bets faded, and St. Joe's killed them. I would say Temple, I agree with Kyle. Temple is probably a fade right now. So you're catching Drexel as an underdog there. Yeah, I could see that. I think that's a reasonably good angle for college hoop today.
Is Drexel good enough though, Trig? That's one thing I worry about. Because I saw that, Temple's best players out, and there was a market move down to, Temple from -3 down to as low as -1.5. But now we've actually seen some buyback. And I wonder if that's the market asking, is Drexel even good enough to be betting on?
I'll say this, Drexel they haven't been as good as I thought they might be so far this year, but I still think this team has, some potential. They've got wins over Charlotte, St. Joe's. Those are decent wins. They lost to Princeton by 2. So, I think the jury's still out, I guess, on both of these teams. But the guy that's out for Temple, I believe, is Khalif Battle, and he matters. So I would lean Drexel there. I would absolutely not be on Temple today. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, fair enough. Kelly, we got a question in here. Any UFC gold from Jimmy?
Ooh, give me a second. Let me look on the back end of WagerTalk and give you guys some free plays.
Okay.
I'm sure Johnny's thrilled
to see what he's on. I'll give you guys a little insight to what he's on. He did give out his best bet on Bet On It this week. That was a 4% play over in the New England Indianapolis game. I have them in a teaser, so we're looking for a shootout here. Hopefully they can just keep it within a touchdown. As far as UFC, I'm not seeing any UFC on his end, but I got to keep scrolling. Look, one UFC play from BR, and he's going to kill me, but he is on Matt Sayles, Sayles, plus 110. That is the only one he has versus Jordan Levitt. And that one goes today at 4:10 Eastern, 1:10 Pacific.
Okay,
Paco Healy asked over under 23 years of age on the Walrus. Do you want to answer that or?
That was a great number by Paco. I mean, right on, but it's just slightly over.
There we go.
Touchdown, 24. Western Kentucky.
What's the score now?
14-7.
All right. Do we like Indiana today, or do we like Notre Dame? What do we like in here, Trig or Kelly?
I'll let go. Kel, do you have something on this game? Because I really
No,
don't have
so
much
I
of an
actually
opinion on
have
this
it pulled
game.
up really quick because I wanted to see kind of what Ken Palm had on this as a matchup. As you guys know, the bookmakers do use Ken Palm. He has the game as 3. I will say this. I thought it was rather interesting. You have a really great Indiana team who just fell short the last time I bet them. Of course they did. But at least from a defensive standpoint here. And then you got Notre Dame, who's just been atrocious against the spread. Even though they have a high-powered offense, I think the Indiana defense here is the right side. Am I going to lay 4.5? Absolutely not. Do I think that Notre Dame seems kind of like a square dog? I do. This is going to be a no play for me, but just know that Ken Palm made the game 3. Line comes out 4.5. Kind of makes you go,
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame got the money for me last week. I had Hammered against Kentucky
that was a great call by you.
Best bet. So now I agree with Kelly. Notre Dame feels like, square dog in a true road game is not really where, or I'm sorry, it's not a true road game. It's in Indiana, but it's at Bankers Life, so it's at where the Pacers play, I believe. I don't know. Notre Dame has some issues. I mean, they were kind of a play on for me, and I went with them last week, but I don't trust them here, so it's just a no play for me.
All right, fair enough, Drake.
On.
Yeah, guys, we got best bets coming up, and we got to start thinking about wrapping it up here with the Saturday show.
I got some stuff from CT. I got some stuff from Chris. I'm going to read that during best bets, but.
Well, let's get on to best bets because we got 17 minutes until tip off. I'd like to kind of hear what everybody's got, so I can put in some basketball for today.
All right, Patrick Wall. He's Wally's Corner here. Did you want to throw out any Wally's Corner before we get to best bets?
No. We'll just wait for the best bets. We can save it for then.
Do you want me? I have a list of like what a certain group played. Do you want me to like just fire those out if for people that want college hoop?
Fire it out.
So this is a sharp group I have access to. I have. These are not my opinions, but this is what this particular group played. They played Louisiana Tech plus 11. They played Iowa minus 6.
Whoa. You know the rules, Trig. Stop with this. If you don't give me rotation numbers in college basketball, you have to leave the chat.
I'm sorry. I got them. I have them. Okay. Rotation number 680, Louisiana Tech plus 11. Rotation number 702, Iowa minus 6. Rotation 713, Loyola Marymount plus 6.5. Rotation 640, Western Illinois minus 19.5. Rotation 684, Michigan minus 14. Rotation 704, St. Louis plus 6. Rotation 631, Southern Miss plus 7. And rotation 645, Marquette plus 10. We talked about Marquette last week being a very live dog option. We said we liked them as an underdog. They're scrappy. These may have moved a little bit, but I know that they at least got hit by a sharp group at the Open. So do what you will with those.
Okay. And before best bets, any NFL, I think we got one game canceled and we got the nightcap going tonight. Kelly, did you touch this NFL game? New England Patriots, Indianapolis Colts minus 2.5, 44.5. I know you're involved from a season win total perspective.
That's CT's best bet. I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay, perfect. That can be CT's best bet. I like them in a teaser up over 8.5. VR gave out the 4% play on the over.
Ooh, over. Okay. In the nightcap in the NFL. And guys, I guess we can start off best bets if you guys are all locked and loaded here. I'll start us off with what we got: Boston University and Marist going at it. And guys, when you look at both of these two teams, Patriot League for Boston University, Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference for Marist. And really, I'm going after this one because both of these two teams, pace-wise, two of the slowest teams in the country, both of them bottom 20 in terms of average number of possessions per game. And whenever that type of profile goes up against each other, I love betting those under the total. There's a lot of dribbling out by the 3-point line. Watch that game clock just dribble down. Neither one of them all that great at offense. Both of them, I guess, decent at defense. Looks like the best number now, I saw 129.5. So yeah, guys, that's going to be my best bet for the show. 5 p.m. today, Marist, Boston University. We got, and let's call it 128 because there's a rogue 129 out there, but widely available 128 under Marist and Boston University, 5 p.m. college basketball. That's my best bet. Trig, throw it over to you, man, going around the horn. What do you got for best bets?
Yeah, so I'm just going to reiterate my two. I gave out two of my best bets that I have at WagerTalk today on the show, both 4% plays. That's UAB plus 6.5 and Weber State plus 5.5. And I'm going to use my time to read Chris's text to me verbatim. This is his breakdown of his best bet. It starts with, who the fuck am I kidding? I don't care if I get shit for this. My best bet is the Patriots plus 2.5. So Chris's best bet, Patriots plus 2.5. He said he knows this team better than anyone in the world. The Pats defense shuts down Jonathan Taylor, and they'll have Carson Wentz shitting his pants as they shake and rattle him up. I can just see him screaming this, like if he had the energy to do so right now.
He can't scream. He doesn't even have a voice.
I know. I expect
He's
Bill
been
and
coughing
company
for a week and a half.
I expect Bill and company to keep the pedal to the metal and get their 8th straight win. Brandon Bolden and Ramondre Stevenson will pick up the load for Damian Harris being out. Look for Mac to have a big game. Best bet, Patriots plus 2.5. And that was, I mean, he gave me 2. So that would have been his like big game breakdown where he like goes nuts, starts screaming into the camera. His best bet for the weekend, he said Broncos, even at -3. He said he really likes the Broncos to run it up on the Bengals this week. So that's from CT. Patriots plus 2.5, Broncos -3. My best bets again: UAB plus 6.5, Weber in college football, Weber State plus 5.5 college basketball.
All right, Pat Wall. Follow him on Twitter at Pat_Wall_. Remember, there's a second underscore there. Stepping in for CT Bets. He is Wally's Corner himself, coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada. Patrick, thanks for stepping in, man. Any final thoughts here in your best bet?
Yeah, for sure. We'll pull one right out of Wally's Corner, and we'll stick with the NFL. I like the New Orleans Saints plus 11, plus 11.5. There's plenty of both out there, and I think it's too many points in a divisional game. It's a little bit of a numbers play, but I liked it on Wednesday when I was getting this together. I still like it. The number's still available. I think you take the Saints plus 11.5. And I'll throw it over to the one everybody's here to see, Kelly in Vegas.
I'm over here working on my gift game, talking a lot of shit on Twitter. You guys already saw. I am also on the Saints. That is my best bet for this week. I will be at the game with Grandma. I'm really excited because I do think the Saints have a good chance to keep it really close. It's after Tom Brady's bedtime, after all. So I won't go into that game anymore because if you watch Wednesday, you already know why. Yes, me and Ski have the same background because there's only so many backgrounds you can use on StreamYard. So I will get a new one created just so I don't look like I'm staying the night over at Ski's house. Also, my best bet for today is going to be ULL -4. Now, at first, the reverse line movement kind of scared me off. I'm not going to lie. This was a team that I backed in their championship game over App State. Obviously, that game's going right now. Already told you why I'm on Western Kentucky. But this is a ULL team. Billy Napier goes to Florida. It's basically a home game for ULL, right? The whole world's on Marshall. That's why the line's dropping. It's not sharp money. Sharp money's coming in on ULL at 4. Now, this is a Raging Cajuns team who's 12-1 on the year. Their only loss was to the Texas Longhorns week 1. I'm sorry. I'm going to just flat out say it. This ULL defense is going to control that Marshall offensive attack. And I know that Marshall has looked really good offensively, but they don't win games when they get held under 28 points. And this is something the Cajuns have done all fucking year long. They're going to keep doing it. I love ULL today. It was my best bet. Obviously, Megan is a big ULL fan, which is why we gave it out in our money shots parlay. Just need them to win, but I like the -4 here. I actually am completely floored. I made the game a touchdown, so to keep seeing this line keep dropping, I'm going, what am I missing here? I've confirmed it with multiple bookmakers. It's not sharp money. It's just one of those type of games where we're seeing maybe an overreaction to Billy Napier already being in Florida.
Could definitely see that happen.
Drew, one thing real quick, because I missed this when I was scrolling. Vonnie Irvin asked for George Mason thoughts. George Mason's on my short list for today. So there's
name one George Mason player right now. Don't look at your computer.
So Kelly, I'm not going to, because it's really not about, this is more of a fade for Georgia, because Georgia's on my fade list and I know they've got a couple guys potentially out here. So I'm basically gonna fade Georgia right here. It's a less of a play on George Mason, more of a fade of Georgia. I'll just leave it at that. Haven't added it to my card yet, but I saw him throw it in the comments and I'm kind of considering it, so I wanted to address it.
He's Adam Trigger, Patrick Wall, Kelly Stewart. I am Drew Martin. Huge shout out to the chat box. Jimmy, Abel, Adam, Abby Jackson, all of you. We appreciate you coming to join us live. Anthony as well in the chat box. If you're watching on replay, guys, that's more than welcome. We love that as well. Feel free to drop a line below in the reply section on YouTube, WagerTalk YouTube, also wherever you're downloading your podcast at. The Hustle Show podcast. We're brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, 4.5% ABV, zero sugar, helps with the hangover, guys. 50% of us were drinking it on this show before noon Eastern time. Guys, best of luck with your college basketball, college football, and NFL, especially if you are tailing the best bets. So, guys, best of luck. We'll be back on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Have a fun Saturday.